I'm Bryan, and I'm 73 years old. Yeah. And you're wondering why in the world would she tell her age? I tell you my age because that's how long I have been in this church. And I wanted you to know that. I was christened in this church, and Carrie said I should have said I was baptized, but we called it christening then. And so I was confirmed in this church, and I can still remember where I sat with my mother and father, because for me that was a very special day. Our two girls, Bill and I, both of our girls were christened in this church, they were confirmed in this church, and they were married in this church. Bill and I were also married in this church, and I have to tell you, it was in the late 60s when I met Bill, and I came back to church here, and I said to Reverend Bass, I said, my roommate in college's father is the minister of the First Baptist Church down in Gainesville. Could I have him say a prayer, please? He said, oh, Chris, you know him better than me. Let him marry you. So I was married by a Baptist minister in our church. And it has lasted 48 years. So that's a good thing, isn't it? Yeah. I received my Bible in the 3rd grade, just as they give Bibles today. I still have it at home. And inside my Bible, my name is written in the most beautiful handwriting you've ever seen by a lady by the name of Grace Butler. Grace Butler was a very faithful member of this church, and I believe she was a leader in this church also. Her daughter Susan was my best friend all through life until she died in 2004. When I sit in our church and I look around, I think of times that Susan and I had in there. Our times at MYF, our times at MYF camp, but one of our favorite times was at the evening service. We got to pray at the altar. They would turn the lights down low, and we always loved that time down there. I'm here today, and my faith is strong today because of so many in this church. In the sanctuary, when I stand up there, I can see people such as Ernest Davis and his wife Betty and the things they did for our church, with his brother Stuart and his wife Elizabeth. They had a sister named Kathleen Davis who taught me Sunday school. I joined her circle just because it was her circle, and she was such a special lady. So I believe all of those people, and in this service today, Tommy Oliver, who you know, his mother, Mrs. Oliver, she also was a strong, faithful member of this church. We had wonderful people in this church. There was a lady in church named Grandma Hardy. She weighed maybe 75 pounds, and she was maybe this tall. I ran into her one time downtown, and I said, Grandma Hardy, I haven't seen you in a while. She said, Chris, I've been at church. Where have you been? Well, guess where I was that Sunday? Back in church if I had been missing there. So it was a wonderful time to grow up here. And as I got older, I began to realize what it meant about having a budget for the church, meeting the church budget, what it meant about our giving, and what it meant about giving our pledge. When they decided to build a sanctuary in this church, I don't know if you know this or not, but they had 25 cents in the treasury. I'm thinking to myself, these people really had some strong faith. But I believe what they wanted to do was to build something for the next generation. And now I've become part of that older generation. And I understand their desire that they had to serve through their giving and through their pledges. In 2000, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Where was the first place I came? I came to the sanctuary, and I kneeled at that altar and asked God to take care of me, which He did. I believe church is where you can go and always feel comfort. I think you can always be accepted at church, and I think you can be loved at church. And that's what we all should remember in our time here. And when I had breast cancer return in 2011, again, where did I come? To the altar to pray. And everybody in the church checked on me, which I know a lot of y'all have had that happen also. I believe that we're a church that does what John Wesley says we're to do. Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. I believe that's what we do in this church. I hope when you decide to fill out your pledge card, you'll remember those in the past who paved this way for this wonderful church we're a part of today. And I also hope that you'll take the time to look around and see what each and every one of you personally have done for this church through your giving. That's the reason we're here, because you have given and you have wanted to be a part of this church. Please help us celebrate during this time the joy of generosity this year, and help us to find ways so we grow stronger in our faith. This church brings me joy and happiness, and I want everyone to feel that same joy and happiness, and also to know that God is with you every step of the way. And as Pastor Charlie says, amen, church? Amen. Thank you very much.